Okay, now we're going to do lesson 4.4a, the GCF and LCM of monomials. A monomial is an algebraic term made up of numbers, variables, and exponents. There are no addition or subtraction signs separating the numbers and variables. For example, 3x to the fourth y and negative 5x cubed yz squared are examples of monomials. You'll notice there is nothing separating those numbers, letters, and exponents. They are all together, so they are monomials. Okay, for example number 1, we're going to ask you to find the GCF and the LCM of x cubed y squared and x squared y. Now, you haven't done it before, so this will be your first time doing it. Key thing to remember is when you're looking for the GCF, it always has the fewest factors. So you're going to take the lowest power of each common variable. Well, in this case, you can see that the two variables they have in common are x for each number and y. So we know that part of our GCF is going to definitely have an x and a y. So the GCF is going to be x to some power and y to some power. Well, according to what the definition is that we just gave you, we're looking for the lowest power. So we have x cubed, x squared. Well, x squared is lower, so let's take the power there. When you look at y squared and y, the lowest power is y because y stands for y to the first. So your GCF is x squared y. Now with the LCM, same problem, but this time we want the most factors, and we want to take the highest power of every variable. So again, we're looking for our LCM. We know we're going to have x's and y's because that's all we have, and we're looking for the highest power. Well, we have x cubed and x squared. Well, x cubed is higher. We have y squared and y squared is higher, so it's y squared. So your LCM is x cubed y squared. Now, on an example like number 2, where we have numbers and variables, what we want to do is find the LCM and GCF of the numbers and then find the GCF and the LCM of the variables. So in this case, if we take 20 and 16 and do our factor ladder, 20 and 16 have a common prime factor of 2. Well, 2 goes into 20 10 times, 2 goes into 16 8 times. Continue till you're finished. 2 goes into 10 5 times, 2 goes into 8 4 times. Well, now we can see at this point that we've broken the numbers down as far as we can. So our GCF are the numbers that we divided by on the side. So your GCF for the numbers is 2. And now we have to do the LCM for the numbers. Well, the LCM for the numbers are all of the numbers on the outside. So your LCM would be 2 times 2 times 5 times 4. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 5 is 20, times 4 is 80. So the number part would be 80. So now you have a GCF of 2 and an LCM of 80, but that is just for the numbers. That is not for the letters. So that's for the two numbers that we have now taken care of. Okay, now let's move on and do the variables. Well, we have x cubed and x squared, so we know it's going to have an x in each one. Well, GCF says it wants the fewest powers. Well, the fewest is 2. And LCM means it wants the most, so 3 is the most. Now let's move on to the y's. Bring your y's down. Well, your GCF says it wants the fewest, or the lowest power. So the lowest power is just y by itself. So that's finished. LCM wants the most, which means it wants the highest power. The highest power is 2, so it's y squared. So your GCF is 4x squared y, and your LCM is 80x cubed y squared. Now, to find the GCF or LCM of a monomial with numbers and variables, we do each part separately, just like we did. First do the numbers, then do the variables. So now, here's example number 3. It has 8m to the fourth n squared p and 18m cubed n. So first thing we want to do is find the LCM and the GCF of 8 and 18. So we do our factor ladder. 2 goes into 8 4 times, 2 goes into 18 9 times. Well, there's nothing else that goes into those numbers, so that we know that our GCF is 2, and we know that our LCM would be the product of all of the numbers that we have here. So it would be 2 times 4 is 8, times 9 is 72. All right, now let's take one variable at a time. Well, we know we have an m in both, so we can write down the m. GCF, again, F is for fewest, which means we want the lowest power. Well, the lowest power we have of m is a 3, so it would be m cubed. LCM is the most, so it wants the highest power, which is 4. Now, if you look carefully, both monomials also have an n, so we want to put the n down. Again, GCF is fewest, so it's n squared. LCM is most, so it's n to the fifth. Now, let's look at the letter P. The letter P is only in one of the monomials. Well, the GCF has to have what's in common. Well, since one term does not have a P, it does not get included in the GCF. When you're doing the LCM wants everything, so they want every letter that's there. So the P does get included in the LCM. So your GCF is 2m cubed n squared, and your LCM is 72 m to the fourth n to the fifth p. That concludes our video for tonight. Please make sure you've made notes of the things that you're confused on, and we will practice more of these examples tomorrow. Have a great night.